Hey guys, and thanks for clicking on my video. I'm pretty new to resin, so it's going to be a real basic how-to. Here I am mixing even parts of both A and B of amazing clear cast resin. It's super important that you mix even parts. If you don't, then the resin won't cure properly and you'll end up with a gummy project at the end. I personally like mixing up a single cup of resin and then pouring it into separate cups depending on how many different colors I'll be using. While you're mixing, it's super important to use your wooden spatulas to scrape the outside of the cups to ensure that you're getting all of the product out of the little measuring cups. And while you're mixing, it's super important that you continuously scrape the outsides of the cup to make sure that you're thoroughly mixing. You'll know when your resin's ready to pour because it'll be completely transparent in the cup. That's why I like using the clear cups, so that way it's easier to see what's going on. As you can see, here I am adding some holographic butterflies that I want to sit at the very top of my ashtray. Some of them did get to the bottom of the mold. What you want to do is use tape to remove any glitter or anything you don't want on that bottom piece instead of using your nails, because you can actually damage the mold. As I mentioned earlier, I like to mix a single cup of resin and then pour it into separate cups depending on how many colors are going into the project. Here I am mixing the first layer of the glitter that I'm putting into the ashtray. I wanted this ashtray to have a little bit of an ombre effect, so the first layer that I'm putting in is actually a lighter glitter mix, and then the next layer is going to be a little bit darker and then a little bit darker. When pouring your resin, it's super important that you get it into the corners of the mold first, as to ensure that there won't be any trapped air bubbles. Here I am mixing the next layer of glitter, which, like I said, is going to consist of a little bit darker glitter, which means I'm essentially just using the darker purple and the chunky glitter more than I am the light iridescent purple. As I pour this next layer, I'm going to make sure that I don't go over that center part of the mold, which consists of the bottom part of the ashtray, so that way when I put my inlay from my Cricut there, you can see it fully. What you don't see in this clip is that I've already poured a tiny bit of resin before I lay down that sticker in the very center. Then I go through and I encapsulate it with more clear resin. Right now what I'm doing with that little wood stick is making sure that there are no air bubbles around my design. There's nothing worse than having air bubbles right next to your sticker or underneath your sticker. It totally takes away from the appearance. Once you're fully satisfied with the placement, go ahead and get ready to pour your next layer. Like I said, this one's going to be the darkest that I've mixed. Look at how pretty that deep purple is. I like to start directly behind my design to ensure that it's not going to slide around. As you can see, it does kind of move a little bit. This is avoidable if you're patient, unlike myself, and you can wait for that initial pour to completely cure before you go over your last layer. I personally don't like waiting because I like it to have the faded effect. When you pour the resin over uncured resin, it will drop down to the front and it'll give it more of a blended appearance. Here I am just adding some extra glitter on the back of the ashtray to make sure that it is going to be nice and sparkly. I usually let that cure for a good 5 hours, and then I go over it with another layer of the clear just to encapsulate all that glitter and make sure we don't have any flaking off. Also, what we're not going to do is acknowledge my disgusting nails. I did a black hair color the day prior. Look at how beautiful this ashtray turned out, guys. With that iridescent glitter and the iridescent butterflies at the very bottom. Like, you can't go wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you give it a go.